Over 6 million women in the UK suffer with vaginal dryness, especially after the menopause. Many of them choose to suffer in silence. So I've asked 5 women to share with me their experience of vaginal dryness.
Because it's sort of there almost all of the time, it's a very uncomfortable feeling.
It's a bit of a shock. You really discover it when you're having an intimate relationship with your partner.
I actually didn't even realise at the time that it was anything to do with the menopause.
My generation is still ignorant of so many of the symptoms because it wasn't talked about.
Women should feel empowered to talk about these things.
What was your experience of vaginal dryness?
It sort of gradually crept in, maybe over even a couple of years, but I didn't associate that with the menopause.
My experience of vaginal dryness was quite sudden, came on quickly. You really discover it when you're having an intimate relationship with your partner and things suddenly don't feel so comfortable anymore.
I thought that this dry, burning, itchy feeling that I felt in my vagina was something that was post-operative to do with my hysterectomy.
And what were your physical symptoms? Did it feel dry or did you have burning, itching? How did it manifest itself?
They had the itchiness and the burning. Because it's there almost all of the time, it's a very uncomfortable feeling.
I was fortunate that I didn't often feel itchy or sore. It was a feeling of dryness.
I was very uncomfortable. I was very itchy. I felt like I had a urine infection a lot of the time.
I was experiencing a little bit of tightness and dryness. I was just incredibly uncomfortable all of the time.
I thought maybe this itchiness and burning sensation is because of bacterial vaginosis, but there was no discharge. It was very dry.
So how did the symptoms linked to vaginal dryness, how did they affect you emotionally?
I felt so bad about myself and a bit ashamed about myself because I felt unattractive. I didn't feel like my body was reacting like it should.
I was a horrible person to be around. I wasn't myself, so it really affected my self-confidence as well.
Over our lifetime, women have so many things that we have to adapt to. The thought that I was going to have to spend the rest of my days with this dry, tight, burning sensation, it had an impact on my mental health because it made me feel a little bit hopeless.
I couldn't stay focused. It affected my mood.
And how did that impact your relationship? And did you find yourself withdrawing from intimacy?
You withdraw from sort of intimacy because you know it's uncomfortable and verging on painful.
The dryness became a problem with intercourse because it didn't feel so comfortable and it didn't feel so pleasurable.
The pain of sex was off the scale. Not feeling like I could be intimate with my husband affected both of us emotionally.
I was worried that he would think that because my body wasn't reacting in the way that it used to, that he might think that I wasn't attracted to him anymore.
You put up with this for a long time. Did you talk to friends or family or anybody about it?
We talk about absolutely everything under the sun, but that's not something women are keen to talk about it because there is a bit of a taboo around it.
I didn't want to share the experience with my partner, so I kept it really hidden away.
Because it was quite early on in my menopause journey, because of my hysterectomy, I don't think that I was able to speak to many people about it because of shame, really.
I'm from an Asian background and culture. When you have your periods, it's already a taboo. And now you talk about menopause? Oh goodness, no. And vaginal dryness, that's so intimate, that's so personal. It requires a lot of effort and courage to talk about these things.
What made you choose Visan?
I spoke to my GP. The only suggestion he had was some sort of hormone-based, and I didn't really want to do that.
I chose the Visan because it did have the word moisturiser on it. I wasn't just looking for a lubricant. I wanted more.
I feel like my life has been filled with hurdles. To have that problem of vaginal dryness and to resolve that with one product alone is pretty life-changing for me.
How quickly did Visan work for you and how does it make you feel now?
Visan worked for me instantaneously by the very first application.
My intimate area now feels moisturised. It feels like it always did feel before the menopause. Because I'm moisturised now every day, you can have the spontaneity back.
When I use the Dr. Wolf's Visan cream, it's almost like a moment. I definitely just feel more comfortable, more me.
Visan has provided me with instant relief, as well as this cumulative effect of soothing and calming my skin.
Then I found Visan and I never had to look back.
So how often do you use Visan and where do you use it? What's your routine?
I probably use it every day, so it's part of my routine, part of my daily routine. I don't have any return of symptoms at all.
I use Visan every day now when I'm moisturising the rest of my body.
So I use it in a preventative way daily. I use the applicator and insert the cream internally daily, and then I also moisturise the outer area as well.
What motivated you to share your experience of vaginal dryness?
I was motivated to tell my story about Visan because of the lack of information out there, and I had to find everything out myself, and nobody really seemed to have an answer.
My generation is still ignorant of so many of the symptoms because it wasn't talked about. And I'm so pleased that we are now opening up these subjects and talking about it, because it means that women younger than myself aren't going to go through what I went through.
Growing up in an Asian culture, which is so conservative, where we cannot talk about periods, I really wanted to come out and talk about it to empower other women to feel the same. It's part of life and you shouldn't feel ashamed. You should feel empowered to talk about it, and you should be able to treat your symptoms.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Visan Moisturising Cream for fast relief from vaginal dryness after just one application.